Hey guys,
How are you guys doing today?
how are y'all? Okay, thanks for coming to our session. It's definitely it's looking like it's gonna be a chill one. So I'm hoping this is more interactive. If you guys have questions, just yell at us, interrupt us, raise your hand. We're here. So I'm Legare Kerrison. I'm a developer advocate on Red Hat's AI team.
I'm Alicia Cao. I'm the developer advocate intern. This is my third week.
Yes, it's Alicia's third week.
Very exciting start.
And we are by no means experts, but we give you the perspective of this tech is actually easy to use because we learned it.
For sure. And in my classes, we did this all on command line, and it was so difficult to focus on the actual application that I was building because I was worrying so much about, am I using the right command? Do I have the right file? And going from that context of using Kubernetes and Docker and going to Podman, it was honestly life-changing.
Yeah,
because
it's
you just
awesome.
click buttons and it's beautiful.
Yeah, so we'll walk you through that today. As the title implies, we're going to
Yeah.
go from containers to pods to Kubernetes. We'll talk about the agenda. So first, just what is Podman Desktop? So it's an open source GUI for working with Kubernetes. It is helped out by the CNCF. Shout out to the
Shout out to
CNCF. It's really awesome. They have come such a long way. So much has been updated on it, and there's really great extensions. If we have time, we'll talk about some of those, particularly in AI Lab I really enjoy. And there's really great compatibility with a lot of things. So if you work with Docker now, you can push and pull images from Docker. You can work with Quay, GitHub, and we'll run you through all that. We'll show you how to download. Super easy, compatible with most people's
All
hardware.
OSs,
Yeah. And then we'll go over features and then finish strong with a demo where, as the title implies, we're going to go from building container images to running and managing containers and then creating pods, deploying Kubernetes, and finishing off yapping about some of the extensions.
Yeah. So moving on, this is the Podman website.
Yes.
Where you can download. As you can see, it's supported with Mac OS, Linux, Windows, all that jazz. And we just kind of wanted to show the Podman repo. And, it's a really active community. We have commits from 8 hours ago. So really, shout out to everyone who contributes to this and CNCF again.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, let's move on to the Podman Desktop app.
Yeah.
This is what you see when you first start. We have a learning center. So if you're even more curious after this talk, you can look through these.
Yeah. This is our dashboard. You can see we have a virtual machine running right now. So obviously we're working on Macs, but this will spin up a virtual Linux machine for you so you can
run all of the open source goodness that's out there. Most of them are all built on Linux, and that's how we can make Podman so compatible with so many devices. It spins up a virtual machine that supports Linux for all the stuff we build off of that. So continuing on, we have these side tabs, so we can see what containers are running. We can group those containers into pods, and they'll be displayed right here. We have all of the images that I have already built. Volumes, if you want to connect your containers to persistent data, if you want to keep all the progress that you had going, or if you don't want persistent data, you can just throw all that stuff in a container and have it and throw it away.
Yeah. One thing I think as developers, dealing with discrepancies between local and production environments when it comes to Kubernetes can be pretty daunting. And I think we've found that this is a really great tool for making everything kind of make sense. It's a beautiful GUI, and I'm excited to show you guys. And again, it is a small room, so if you have questions,
Speak up.
yeah.
Next is the Kubernetes tab. If you actually have a cluster running, you can go deep in depth of the nodes and all the deployments, the services, all that good stuff. And then now we have our extensions tab.
Yes, okay, so we have extensions for running Kubernetes in your local environment. There's an entire catalog.
It's giant. I don't even think this is all that we have. This is just what's featured, what's poppin'.
Yeah. So anything, what's poppin'? We're clearly Gen Z.
Yes.
So, yeah. And then we have just classic account settings where you can configure how much resources you're giving to your machine. So if you were to be working with the AI lab, you could probably
bump this up.
Bump that up. And kubectl. And then we have the registries right here.
So you can connect it to your Docker account, Quay, GitHub, and you can always add other ones that you want to use if you really want that.
Yeah. If we go back over to our images, like as this shows you, you can use all of these different things to pull images.
Yeah, we have stuff from Docker and Quay already up and ready.
Yeah, or you could use Red Hat's universal base image if you don't want to pull like some suspect image from GitHub.
Exactly, and for this demo, if you want to recreate at home, we are using the Red Hat universal base image.
Yeah, so we're gonna get started and just go from showing y'all how to make a container happen and how to make a pod with multiple containers inside of it.
Yeah, so this is the demo that we're working with, just to give an idea of like what we're gonna be running. So we have a simple front end that's built with Flask and Python, and basically it's gonna display a web page that has like hello world as well as a hit counter to show me how many times we refresh the page. So we have this, which is the main app.py file, and we have the Docker file that sets up all of the sets up the image and then installs all the runtime tools and the dependencies and then copies in everything in our application. Mm-hmm. And then we also have the entrypoint.sh file, which that's where we find the host file to get the host name for our backend database Redis, which keeps all of the information of how many times the website has been accessed in the cache. Yeah, so just...
Want to make it full screen?
Yeah,
We'll also control ++ so you guys can, or command ++ so you guys can kind of see like what's going on.
Yeah, so just a brief overview of like what code we're working with, and all of our code's open source. So like I said, if you wanted to go back into this demo and look deeper into it, it's there. You can look at it. But yeah, let's start with spinning up an image. So it's easy to just find an image. Like you don't ever have to start alone building up your application brick by brick. Like there's so many different images that you can pull from. So you can load them like from a tarball file, like if you want to make it yourself. You can also import it in a different way. You can pull it from the registries that we were mentioning before. But if you have a Docker file, you can just go into this build image tab, and then you find the specific Docker file to build, and then it automatically finds the context directory, and then you can tag it with a specific image name, and you can give it some environment variables, and then you press build. I've already built my image, so it will not run just because you want it to have a unique namespace. So once you build it, it should appear in this tab, and then you can look at the summary, inspect it. And to deploy the image, you just press this play button. So I'm going to shut off these two containers so that we can have a unique namespace to start everything fresh. And then we're gonna first build up the backend so we have a database to hold that information of how many times we're running, how many times the website has refreshed. And if you go here, you can give it a container name, so demo Redis, and you can give it like a starting command, and you can also attach it to a volume for persistent data. There's also some advanced stuff if you're into that, and you can work on networking, so attach it to a host name, and then like some security stuff. But yeah, for this container, we don't really need to do too much. We can just press run. So once you have a container running, this is the tabs, and then you can see the logs. So we see that it's initialized, and it should be ready to accept connections. You can go into the inspect tab, and for this, we want to connect this container to the front end. So we need to find the IP address for the host. So let's find IP. So this is where we're connecting the next container to. Other than that, there's some other, like the cube manifest. But let's start up our front end. So if we press play here, this is going to be our front end for our demo. We don't need to do anything else here for this particular example, but I would like to point out that it automatically port mapped. So I'm on Mac, so port 5000 is automatically there for AirDrop, and I didn't need to like adjust that port. Like it automatically generated 5001 for me. You can add environment variables, and for this example, we're just going to go through networking and then attach it to our Redis host. So now let's start our container. All right, beautiful. Let's look at the logs, and it seems like it's running. Now, if we press this button, we can go on localhost on the local host, and then if we refresh it a couple of times, we can see that it is working. Super exciting to see that it went well. And we can go in our logs, and we can see our successful web requests. Yeah, so now we've built 2 containers. Let's make a pod.
Right, let's do it.
Super, super easy. Select the pods that you want. Oh, that's images. Select the pods that you want, and then create pod. Name it whatever you want.
What's up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pods are just a collection of containers. You can have like 1 container in a pod, but that's like the smallest unit in a Kubernetes cluster. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have any other questions? Well, oh, it ran. But any questions so far? All right.
Wait, we got
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Sorry, keep it just a little bit.
No, you're good.
Red Hat specifically is like, what exactly? An application for managing, for using Podman to manage containers?
So Red Hat is a company, and we don't sell any technology. We just contribute to open source projects, and then we productize them for the enterprise so that enterprise can work with open source tech that we help them A, implement, and B, make sure is safe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is your productization of Podman?
Yeah, well, no, this is a project. This is more of like a fun toy that developers really enjoy using, and we don't really play with the enterprise and Podman too much. But there's a lot of technology that's in Podman, especially in its extensions, that we do have enterprise versions of. So like we have InstructLab for fine-tuning large language models, which is, we have an enterprise version of via Red Hat Enterprise Linux AI, and we have OpenShift AI, which from here is really easy to deploy to, which is just like enterprise Kubernetes. So if you were to like spin up things on Podman that you eventually want to put into production, you can deploy them into OpenShift. And it's like a 30-day free trial to use their Sandbox, so if you are interested in that, there's no bells and whistles or anything, but it's like fairly intuitive to use. Yeah, what's up? Okay, after she finishes this, I'll make sure we go through the AI lab. It's so you can package a large language model and its dependencies the same way you would package an application and its dependencies. And it's all like, you can pull open source large language models off of things like Hugging Face and query them. What's up? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. We'll show you. It actually is using the safe tensors, but yeah.
But yeah, this is a real quick wrap up. If you wanted to run Kubernetes locally on your machine, we do have an extension that comes pre-installed. So if you go into settings, there's kind. So I don't think we have enough time to run it fully because it takes quite a bit, and kind needs like at least like 10 gigabytes of memory, and I don't want my computer to crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right here you can just like create a cluster real quick, and I'm pretty sure this spins up another virtual machine for your pods to live on. And you do need to give it enough power for everything to work. So if you wanted to run Kubernetes locally, you would just create a kind cluster. And like I said, this takes a little bit of time, but once you have that set up, you can go into your pods, press these 3 dots, and then deploy to Kubernetes, and it already generates a YAML file for you. So you don't have to worry about, do I have the right indentation? Like, do I have everything set up? It automatically generates it for you. And if you expose the service locally, that makes it allow both of the containers to talk to each other in the same environment without having to do that extra step of connecting the front end to the Redis container like we did before. So if we were to deploy, you know, we could go, like, have everything running, and we can go to localhost, and then at this port 9090, and then we'll have the same application running. But yeah, that's our demo, going to Kubernetes.
And we'll talk about AI Lab for a second, unless anyone has any questions on what we just did. Okay, perf. So this little robot seal is the AI Lab. Yeah, I love their marketing. Like, as a brand and project created by engineers, like, normally doesn't always hit, okay? But Podman's doing the most. We've got this adorable AI seal. Here's our dashboard. Same thing as the dashboard earlier, where it's got like learning materials and kind of tells you what's going on. This is a sick feature. It's a recipe catalog, so it's a bunch of boilerplate code for doing like traditional artificial intelligence use cases. So it has boilerplate code for a chatbot, for summarization, for code generation. They also have audio to text and computer vision, which are new and I haven't fully played with yet, but I'm excited to check out. And then they have a catalog of models. So like IBM's Granite model, which is open sourced, you can pull here. A couple other ones, Mistral. But if you wanted to use like something off of Hugging Face, I like to work with a quantized version of DeepSeek. There are people out there that are angels that have already quantized it, and you can just like download it and run it on your local machine. And it's cool to get to play with the reasoning model on here. And you can decide like what model you personally like via the playground. So if you create like a playground environment and pick a model, I haven't downloaded anything from the catalog because this is an impromptu demo, but then you can just query it and see if you like what it's doing. It's great, like it's such an awesome extension. And then we also have InstructLab, which this is what I was mentioning earlier, where we have like an enterprise version for fine tuning, because enterprises like want customized models. A lot of their data just isn't represented in traditional like open source large language models, just because like it's private data. So they want to be able to fine tune models, and we use InstructLab for that, which is like it's an architecture with a teacher model and a student model. So like the teacher model is going to be something with like 1 trillion parameters that can then generate synthetic data to train the smaller model. So that's another cool project that has like a good kind of workflow with Podman. So like when you're doing stuff, we're on the artificial intelligence team. Like Podman isn't necessarily like an AI tool, but one workflow that we like to talk about is like taking Podman's AI lab and then like fine tuning a model with InstructLab, querying it via AI lab, a model that you probably pulled from Hugging Face in the first place, and then deploying that on OpenShift in a container. Yeah, so that's our demo for the day. What are y'all thinking? Any questions? What's up? Interesting? Yes.
I hope you guys go home and you can play around with AI Lab or run your own little apps. Like there's so many cool things you can do with Podman.
What's up? Yes.
What is the filter that is Podman using behind the scenes? It's like I know that Docker used to build it.
Okay.
What is the
What is the what?
like Docker uses
Build kit?
images and stuff.
Okay.
What is the equivalent of Docker?
Oh, I don't know. But but if you come to the booth after this, we have like a Red Hat booth. There's like a fedora sitting on the table. I can definitely find out for you. Yeah.
But Podman and Docker have like seamless integration, so you can use both of them interchangeably. Like it's pretty much the same commands too as you would use in Docker. So like instead of Docker Compose, you would use Podman Compose. So we should have a equivalent.
Yeah, and if you've learned Docker and like you prefer to work from the CLI, like there's also an option to work from the CLI with Podman. Like if you just go to that website and download, there's like an option to download CLI or CLI extensions as well. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for coming. I'm really glad y'all are here.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yes.
Thanks.